Welcome to the Angels, Magic and Joy podcast. This podcast is for those who seek answers from above, guidance and magical inspiration.
Immerse yourself in the realms of magic, angels, fairies, unicorns, dragons, and so much more. I'm Kirsty Jandrel, and I'm delighted to be here with you today.
And I am Kate Lachman. Welcome everyone to the Angels, Magic and Joy, another episode of our podcast with a very, very special guest today. We're delighted to have with us today Patrycja Matuszkiewicz. Thank you so much for joining us. We're delighted, and I actually personally can't wait to dive in and to ask you everything to share with us. Thank you so much for joining us today. And for a start, Patrycja, would you like to share with us your passions, what you do, what you're all about? Tell us a lot about yourself.
I like speaking, so it will be a long introduction, but no, I just try to make it simple. So thank you very much for inviting me here. Actually, it's my first official podcast. So ladies, thank you very much. I will I will remember that moment for sure. I was thinking, what can I say about myself? Because I've got kind of a different story with different background. So, well, first of all, I'm a teacher, I'd say. I'm a teacher of English by profession. I used to work as a teacher back in Poland. Now I've been in Ireland for the last 11 years. And I got to the point that I don't want to actually go and work in the school. So I decided to go into administration. And after 11 years working with business English, working with project management, human resources, it gave me a lot of kind of the knowledge, how actually the human relations, how it looks from the workplace perspective. As a person that is interested in holistic world, in all those spiritual part of our life. So that's why I was thinking I will start that way, that because of that work experience, 2 years ago, I got kind of very emotional at my work, that I got to the point I can't just handle like that anymore. And I was trying to find a way I can help myself. So first of all, I was looking for some psychologist. I was looking for some kind of the guidance where I can go. And thanks to that, I started to go to different workshops, trainings, and thanks to Women's Circle, I met Kate. I did different interesting workshops like Tantra, Vedic art. But then I realized that also family constellations, but then I realized all the answers are all in me. So I think back then, it all started to grow to go back to my passion, which always been people, working with people, but from the point of view of kind of working with emotions, like working with everyday life stress, everyday life issues that really trigger us. So since then, I came back to my huge passion, which is numerology and cartomancy. Thanks to my journey, I discovered also the Akashic Records and Reiki, which been always drawn to. So I think I'm on my journey right now, and I feel like I'm on the train that it's just speeding and speeding. And I've got other plans in the future to come, but now I'd say the most important for me is passion about people, being passionate about well-being, wellness, about stress management, about leaving your comfort zone and just focusing actually what you feel inside, what your heart wants to tell you, what you actually need in your life. That's my passion.
Beautiful, thank you, Patrycja. That passion certainly comes through in in your voice. It's beautiful. Thank you. And yeah, there's so much that we're going to sort of unravel there. But I would personally love to start by asking you a little bit about the Akashic Records, because I know we have a little bit of shared passion there. So you mentioned that, of course, we have all the answers and the medicine within, and we know the Akashic Records can be a fantastic portal to that. So I wondered if you could sort of explain a little bit about the Akashic Records for our listeners, please, and maybe a little bit of an introduction and how you sort of got involved in it, really, please.
Yes, so recently I've been taking part in different training at one of the schools that provided actually the Akashic readings. And I was kind of interested how it looks like. I just knew it's kind of the meditation that thanks to that you can really get the answers to all your questions in your life. And I thought, oh my God, I've got so many questions. It will be so easy that I finally get the answers to my questions. So I said, okay, I'll sign for the first workshop, which I did. Then I was introduced to the prayers, to the methods that you can connect with your guidance, with your angels, with your ancestors. And I discovered that it is so powerful. I didn't even think that really you feel yourself like like you are in different state of mind, that you are really connecting with the universe. And once you start readings, when you are in Akashic, you really are in different state of mind, and you feel like you are somewhere in the universe, that you really feel that all protectors or guidance with you, that they really are there to help you. And since then I also started to do the readings. Those readings were mostly to help with the questions of everyday life, like what should I do with my work? Why am I not happy with my partner? Why all the time I'm in the trouble? And about the past lives, which is, I think, the most interesting part of the readings, because we sometimes don't even realize why certain things happen in our life, because they have all the connections, they have all the roots back in the past. Sometimes it's a really far, far past. And also, I discovered that thanks to Akashic records, you can heal these wounds actually that we all carry with ourselves. Yes, so I found it really powerful. Um, yes, I know that you also can cleanse the chakras. You can cleanse your aura. You can check your aura, what is happening there, if you are safe enough. So it's really powerful tool, but I find it as a very powerful tool for wellness, for meditation. Is a state that you can calm yourself down. Even like I was advised by the teacher that, listen, just go to the Akashic records if you have a bad day, just to go and ask for calming down. And that's it. And it's going to do the work. So I'm trying to do that myself whenever I need, but also I remember that you cannot overuse that tool, that you have to be respectful. So yeah, that's my story with Akashic. I just want to say one more sentence that actually because I have very often dreams with my grandfathers, with my grandmother, with my grandfather and grandmother. And once it happened, I felt there is someone coming from my grandfather's side, from my mother's grandfather's side. It wasn't directly my grandfather, but there was some kind of a person like from the family, and they just said one sentence: "We have two gifts for you. Are you going to take them?" And then I knew I have to sign for Akashic Records. That's the story. That's my story with Akashic readings. Yeah. So it's kind of, I think, one thing led me to another one, and I felt I got those kind of information and the guidance. Okay, now you're ready to start reading the Akashic
Wow.
Chronicles.
Wow. I can relate so much to that, because that's what it was for me with Akashikas, and I've done mine with Kirsty here present with us. So that was such a profound, because I would try different things, but of course it's about the person who's holding the space for us as well. But it's just so profound, and it's very, very much endless and its possibilities. So I love that you mentioned that, because I can relate to that so much. So thank you for that. I would like to dive in a bit more into Reiki, because you're also a Reiki healer. I wonder actually what was first, because you've done so many. So maybe if you like, you can share which was first. But I feel like very often many people start with Reiki as well. So maybe if you'd like to share a bit how you've become interested in that, was it maybe your first thing, and then how it features in your life, and then maybe especially diving into the potency and the beauty, especially in the current times, regarding what's happening on the planet with us, how Reiki maybe can help us and support us in this, and of course your experience.
Well, I'm on my just beginning actually of the whole journey, but I think that it was also not coincidental that it was around a year ago, I think, a year and a half. I felt that I need some tool that I can start the healing myself, because I will go back to numerology later on, why everything started with numerology, and I knew where to look for another tools, because I've always felt that there is something in my family. There's something with the surname. There is something that I was digging and looking. What is the reason why the things are happening? Why they are repeating in the family story? So I thought that Reiki will let me kind of get the inner understanding of myself, first of all, that I can start my healing process. And also, it wasn't a coincidence that I was looking for the course. It was close to my birthday time. And I think I just sent the message to the universe. And at the end, I found the course in the area that I live myself, in the local holistic center. And I think the training started, the first attunement was, I think, 2 or 3 days before my birthday, and it was so powerful. I felt really the energy going through my body. I felt the guidance. I felt the angels, because it was my teacher. She mostly she uses angelic Reiki, and I couldn't believe this is real. And even that I had before Reiki, but I didn't feel it so strong. And then the story started with the first 21st days, when you do the cleansing yourself. My dreams, all my experience, all the feelings, I just felt like I'm getting to the higher level, that my senses are so sharp. And I started then the journey with my heart. First of all, I wanted just to feel my heart. First of all, the most important was, I just wanted to ask my heart, what do I actually need in my life to feel better? So that was my story with Reiki 1. Then I did a while, well, 2 months ago, I did Reiki 2, which now allows me to work with people. I have the group that I'm working with. We do Reiki sharing, and yes, it's really, when you do it together in a group, you feel how the energy is working. But it's so kind of like Akashic readings. It's so powerful tool for your wellness. You don't have to go for the massage, you don't have to go for the swimming pool. You just sit down, you take a breath or a good few breaths, and you are in the state to listen to your body, and that the Reiki does all the work. Of course, when you let and allow to have Reiki healing. So yes, that's how my story began. So it's kind of this funny that always it's either family related or birthday related. Like I'm having my birthday in a month, in a month time. So I'm wondering what is going to happen next. What the universe will show me.
Something positive and fun, I hope. But isn't it wonderful that we Kate and I call them the golden breadcrumbs, the golden angelic breadcrumbs that we follow, and it's so lovely. And thank you for that. It's wanting to sort of really, you've touched on it in speaking already about numerology, and you've got so much to offer, so really keen to find out more about your interface with numerology. And Kate and I know are very get very excited when we see certain angel numbers and things. And of course, for a lot of people, when that's one of the first things that happens to us when we're on the path, where we awaken spiritually, we start to see these numbers, and of course the more you see they send us more and more. So yeah, just really interested, Patricia, to find out more about your experience with that.
Yes, so I'd say numerology is my biggest passion, which I started to be interested back when I was a teenager. So the main numerologist that did the training back in 2000 was Gladys Lobos, which did the training back in Poland in 2000. But I know that since then, numerology started to get more popularity. And I was thinking, how am I to say in short what numerology is? So actually, numerology is everything that we can read based on the date of birth and your names and surnames, but not just that. So let's say the most important is the main vibration. So when you add all the numbers from your date of birth, your month, and the year, You are the main energy based on that date of birth, but also your date of birth has also influence on yourself. So sometimes there are two different energies that either they work together or they create a situation that you are kind of in the state of the fight, like inner fight. And also based on numerology, we can, like now we know that it's 2024 year. So the numerology for that year is number 8. When you add that to your main vibration, you know what is the main energy that has a greatest impact that year for you. And based on numerology, we can do a numerological horoscope. So a personal month, a personal day. Like let's say today is my green day. That's why I've got the green shirt, because that the day number 4 is responsible for heart chakra. That's why also numerology is so much connected with colors that are going to help you to go through the day. I'm doing the kind of since September my calendar based on the numerology, and I really have now an insight how it's all correlated. Based on numerology, you can check when is the best date to open the business, what is the best date, what is the best day to get married. Even like I know there are stories when women are trying to get the best date when they are to give the birth to children. Well, I know people are planning to get married. Everything is in numbers, and I kind of did the research, and really, it has a great impact. Why the businesses are not going well, why they are not getting the money, why people are not happy in the marriage. So everything is in the numbers. So in the date of birth, your full names and surnames, even like your middle name, your middle name, maiden name, in your husband's name, when you get divorced, when you are going back to your maiden name, it's all the energy. So it's a really powerful tool. But I was thinking, I can just add that I think it's a bit different than with angelic numbers, because in numerology, the numbers are not more or less to give you some kind of the support. It's more or less the tool for you to understand who you are. And for me, it's kind of the tool that you can try to understand your family, your friends, your colleagues, like why there is a certain relationships. Numerology also shows karmas. We may believe it or not, but it's everything there. Like why we have the certain circle of life, why we are all the time experiencing some certain events. It's everything in the numbers. So, but I also believe it is related to angelic numbers, but it's in a bit different way, I'd say.
Wow, thank you so much. Yeah, definitely different. I didn't know that about the colours as well. That makes sense. The correlation between the colours. So
Yes.
yeah, thank you.
Actually, it was Louise Hay that she wrote the book about how you can heal yourself, and how she combined the colors. And yeah, I can really see that it's all colorated. So you may try yourself. Also, people try to combine numerology with astrology, and I think it makes a lot of sense, because they are kind of very close disciplines and they go hand in hand. So yeah, you can. It's so great that all these, ancient actually ancient knowledge that we can use in modern times.
I find it interesting how many of those things would be laughed at or not appreciated for many years. Hence, still, when you check, let's say, the dates for, let's say, political events, for anything that's happened, it's always, if you count it, like I'm always interested, I'm always checking, oh, why is that happening on that day? It's always perfectly chosen. It's always perfectly chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even last time we analyzed the date when Russia invaded Ukraine. So the full date, based on the date, it gave the number 5, with which number 5 is responsible mainly for violation, for chaos. So you can really go through different even date of births of famous people, and then realize why he was a famous scientist, why he or she was interested in that discipline. So, or even when you go through all people interested in healing or in spiritual life, everything is either in their name or it is in their date of birth.
it's just so profound. I feel like maybe we could do a whole numerological series with you,
Yeah,
Patricia.
I wouldn't mind, to be honest, because it's so like you can to be honest, like because I did my course in Polish, but of course I'm very much interested to go to English spoken clients, customers, friends, and out of the curiosity, I did just the research in our Irish ISN. How many books are about numerology? I was surprised. There are 35 positions about numerology in English. So I know it's even I did the research. How about it is in the UK? There are plenty of different articles, books. So it's really used, but it's not told about, I think.
And it's interesting because I have another friend actually that she works in numerology, and I thought she knows everything because she's brilliant. I thought she knows everything, and I thought, how much can you know? She's like, oh no, I'm still learning. I'm still learning. It
Yes.
feels like it's endless that you can actually learn about.
Yeah, because even like on the date of birth, you can have a look how your past lives have had an influence on your current life. And even it's so called that there are some phases in your life that we go through, and there are so-called challenges in your life that you go through in certain time, let's say when you are in your 30s and when you are in your 40s. So everything is there in the numbers, so you can learn about everything, kind of like, even I found the book about Afro-Brazilian numerology. So I think each of the countries, they have different kind of the combination, because mostly the current numerology is, of course, it's based on Greek and ancient numbers, but like there is a different one in India, there is another one in old Babylon. So it's plenty of different knowledge, but they were shown, or they were kind of explained in a different or similar way, but all of them, when you think about it, they talked about the same. I think so. Even like the number of, I don't know. I mean, okay, too many to talk. We will do separate about numerology. Separate podcast.
I think that's definitely another podcast, because there's so many different avenues to go down there. I'm so intrigued. So yes, we definitely book you back on, please.
Yes, please. We'll go. Episode 1 is gonna be all about 1. Episode 2 is gonna be all about 2. I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna talk for hours. I would like to, because what we love to do with Kirsty, we always, the idea behind the podcast was also to share our experiences, especially those magical or angelic experiences. And to be honest, like, that's my favorite thing. I think we ask that in every podcast, don't we, Kirsty? I think it's like, this is our goodie. This is like a treat here. So Patricia, would you like to share if you had any magical or angelic experiences that you would love to share, something profound that maybe was happening?
Oh, I think all my life. Well, as I said, like being myself as a person, and has always kind of the strong connection with my third eye. Always I had a lot of different dreams, or kind of the intuition that I knew something is going to happen, or I just had a look and I knew that or this. But the magical moments in my life, I think the whole journey that I'm going through now, it's very magical for me, because to be honest, I was just thinking that really I kind of forgot about who I am, what I want really to do in my life, and what kind of future and present I want to have. So I'd say I'm going through my magical time now, just going back to myself, to my kind of the skills, or my well, some kind of the knowledge that I think I've always had, but I just forgot for some reason, because either I blocked myself, or I was just told by society, oh, you shouldn't be doing that because it's just it's just stupid, or you shouldn't be, be interested in cards, or being interested in numerology or bioenergy. So yeah, but the truth is that I think when you go on the journey, it will get you anyway. So there is no way to hide. So I'd say this is my magical time. About angels, I've always been praying to my guidance, guidance to my angels, and I've always felt protected. I've always felt that they are there with me. So yes, I'd like to start doing work, to work more with the angels themselves, because I can see that when you start working with them, you really have the deeper connection. with the universe. And this is kind of like the most important part, but I think you have to be ready. And then they will call you and they will just kind of guide you and show you how to go through, where to go, where to start. So but as I said at the very beginning, that is what I experienced with Reiki when I was attuned with Reiki 1, because it was more or less angelic Reiki attunement. So I really felt that there is someone with me, and I knew these are angels. I knew that.
Oh, that's beautiful. So you feels like you're in a deep remembrance, Patrycja, of, you know, who you really are, which is so beautiful. That magical, you said, this magical time. Wow.
Yeah, because based on numerology, I'm number 9. So it is kind of the very old soul, and I'm 9 from 27. So it's kind of the person, kind of the number that I've had so many different, I believe, incarnation, that it's always been either about teaching people or guiding people, or even like, you know, doing the healings or working with the energies. That's what I think. And I think that's why I believe, I trust it's just so quickly guiding me through one to another. Because if I have thought about myself being in that place 2 years ago, I wouldn't expect, you know, doing myself Reiki or doing even that podcast, you know. So you know, I've changed a lot, I think. And but I got to the point, I need to trust that inner voice that is telling me you are on the right path. Just go on, just believe in yourself.
Yeah. Oh, really celebrating that trusting. And it's not easy, is it? It's not an easy ride, but you know, it's so really sort of witnessing and celebrating. And yeah, that's great that you've done that. And the thread of teaching, of course, is throughout all of those different sort of modalities as well. So that's beautiful. So yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said at the very beginning that I've been always kind of thinking how actually I can help my friends around, how I can help different people around. So I'm thinking about doing this kind of the courses with stress management, with wellness, with workplace wellness, especially because many people, even they don't even know how to say no at work, or they are bullied, they are harassed, and just some companies are open to have these conversations. And I think that is where the problems start, because we spend at work, if someone has a regular work job like 8-9 hours and commuting and so on, and this is it has got a huge impact in our life. That's why we have so many different stresses, illnesses, anxieties and so on, and then we are panicking, oh my god, what can I do with myself? So I think it is just to start with the basics: where you work, where you spend most of your time, how you are treated, how you let to be treated. So that's why my whole idea is that it's all combined. It's all about, you know, respect. It's all about well-being and also mindfulness, about who you really are, and just to, you know, to show your true colors, that you think about yourself. If you don't think about yourself, nobody will think about you. You have to start from yourself.
Absolutely. And it's, yeah, I love the fact that you've got that passion as well with you know, workplace well-being, because it's absolutely right. We spend, you know, more time at work than we do with our families and loved ones. And you know, it can be so joyous if it's, you know, if you're treated right. And once, you know, the whole of society starts to understand this, wow, what a beautiful world we'll live in. So celebrating you for that part. And that segues beautifully into our next question, which again, we like to ask this question to our guests often. Part of our purpose, as you know, Patrycja, is to help to spread a bit more joy and to give a bit of upliftment to our listeners. So in this time that we're in at the moment in humanity, it can be, you know, it can be very difficult for people to connect with their joy. So just wondering what you would suggest, really, if you could suggest some simple ways that you use, or you teach people to use, to connect with their inner joy so that they can feel better and help others too as well. please. Not a big ask, but
Yes. Yeah, but it's very kind of the question that people forget to ask themselves. What can I do to feel better? Like, how can I get the joy back in my life? And these are kind of simple things like eat healthy, have enough time of sleep, regular sleep, turn off the phone, just sit down in, in just quietness, in just peace. Listen to your inner voice, listen to your thoughts, play nice music, dance, ground, go for a walk, go at the seaside, go to the mountains, do whatever, but outdoors, and try just to forget about the rest of the world. So, and also like do this kind of dates with yourself. Treat yourself. Think about yourself in a positive way. Be good for yourself. Don't punish yourself. It's not the way that it will help you. It's going to it's going to give you a worse kind of feeling. So just always treat yourself good. And I think it's very important if someone is really interested to change things around him or her, just I think self-development is a really great tool, because then you kind of realize why you actually behave certain way, why some things or people trigger you, or why you're having issues, or why you can not overcome certain situations. So but I think it also involves a kind of great readiness, because not everyone is ready, but we can start bits by bits. There are so plenty of nice podcasts, like introduction to meditation, introduction to, I don't know, sound healing, or a lot of holistic events, like we are both taking part with Kate here in Ireland. So that's why people also are trying. I mean, the good, I'd say, advice is just try to find people that think similar way that you think, they are interested in similar things that you are interested in, and generally just experience the life. We live here just once, and always I have the proverb to myself that I prefer to regret that I did something that I didn't. So just be open, be creative. Oh, this is the other thing, be creative. Yeah.
I love that. I love that you added creativity at the end. And I was actually thinking I would like to add my little nugget here as well. I was driving my car, and I love to, when something is happening in life, I always like to analyze that, get the lessons out, and it's always unfolding itself always deeper and deeper and deeper. And I was thinking of that, maybe if something could have been avoided, or maybe there's a lesson there for the future. And I was thinking of it, and I analyzed like that a lot. And I realized while I was analyzing, and it came to me, and the message came, look at all those moments and situations that you've avoided that. Look at all those moments that you didn't do something. And very often we wouldn't even realize, because nothing bad is happening, but we just go on with the life. And I've realized, and they said to me to celebrate more of all of those times that I did succeed, that I did not go, let's say, into drama, that I did not go, or I did not allow myself to be manipulated, or I did not do something. They were like, look at all of those things. And I could see it kind of on a scale. And those, let's say, lessons that I got, it was like a tiny, tiny bit comparing to all the great success that it's out there. And I was like, okay, let's celebrate. So celebrating, yeah, everything that good happened, and things that we didn't even realize that could have happened, like those things that you forget your keys and you're leaving like 2 minutes late. I always thank angels, thank you, because there was something waiting for me and you're holding me here. I'm always celebrating that for years. But I feel like there's loads of moments like that, that we're avoiding something, that we are listening to our hearts, but we don't celebrate that enough.
I think the issue is that we want a great success, achievement in the life, and we forget about those little moments that they lead to bigger success. So as you said, like we should be thankful for the basics, then to appreciate the bigger success or the bigger events that are going to happen. Yeah, but it's kind of simple, but we are living in kind of the times that we overthink everything. We just exaggerate, and we want a sudden success, a sudden action. That's what is triggering all of us. More and more and faster, and more and again faster. So yeah.
Yeah, instant gratification. I can see that after my kids, because they're already different generation, and that instant gratification, there's completely, we're evolving so much into that. But I would like to come back to something, because I know Patricia personally, and I know the great passion for tarot we also share, and I always love to ask you hundreds of questions on how do you see that, how do you see that, how do you feel that, because it's just so fascinating. I would like to ask you maybe let's keep it simple, maybe 3 of your favorite cards, and if you would like to share maybe something that it's touching you and that, and something that maybe you like about it the most.
Well, yes, so tarot is one of my favorite cards that I like to work with, but there are plenty of other ones. Like I love Gypsy Kings, Gypsy cards. Always when I think Gypsy comes Gypsy King, sorry, Gypsy cards. And Keeper cards, which are actually German cards. But there are so many different oracles. I like all the psychological cards as well. Well, there are plenty of, but coming to your question, I think my favorite one would be for sure the High Priestess, because this is how I see myself with the person. I mean, it's not that I'm here trying just to say, oh my God, I've got such great knowledge. No, I've always felt kind of connection with the priestess, that she knew and she knows exactly what she's doing. And it's all about, I'd say, the women's energy here, but kind of from the point of view, like the combination of being a teacher, being a priestess, and being a bit of the witch, perhaps, I don't know, but it's everything about the feminine energy. And actually, maybe the reason is that High Priestess is number 2, and my date of birth is 20, which gives me 2. So maybe that's the reason why I like this one. Actually, I've got my cards in here, so I'll go through. And the other one, which I really like, and I think this is the one that connects me with myself, is the Hermit, so number 9, because I'm 9 myself. And I felt always very similar as that card, that as even a child, I felt that I'm kind of prefer to spend time myself alone, because I prefer to listen to my own thoughts, or generally it was something in myself as a child that I felt I'm different in a way that I couldn't work out. So I think this is the one that I like. But there are plenty of great cards that I like. And the other one I think is another feminine energy. So I like all the queens in the tarot, because it shows all the palette of the characters that we women have. So being a strong, powerful woman with the knowledge, with the position, which is Queen of Wands. Then the Queen of Cups, so being emotional, being a mother, giving the life, being the person that through her goes, actually all the processes go through her. Then you've got the Queen of Swords, which is intelligence, but also being a sharp and precise queen, the person that has to make a decisions. And the last one is the Queen of, which I forgot. Which one is the last one? We've got cups, we've got wands, we've got swords, and coins. Yes. Oh yeah.
Cards.
Very
Alison
good.
Wonderland.
Coins. Oh, I like her.
Coins.
She's always the great manager. She has this kind of respect, and I think that all men respect Queen of Coins, because she knows how to juggle those coins. But the coin here is kind of like metaphor. So these are the chances that we have in life, and it's all about if we actually decide to take if we go ahead, if we decide to take an action, and if we really want to challenge ourselves and go for it, go for what we really want in our life. And this is what she represents. This kind of also majesty. I mean, I like her energy. It's just kind of, she's got all the different characters of women, but I'd say she has the biggest respect. So, but all the cards, they are so special. Each of them, they tells different story, and you can interpret, you can tell, you know, when you have the cards together, many different things. But also I have to mention that, and many numerologists say that the tarot numbers has a lot of in common with numerology, if you believe it or not, a lot. So it's all so it all goes together, it all combines into one. Everywhere are numbers, we are all numbers, if we want or we do not want to. We have the passport, there is a number. We have ID, there is a number. So I know, I mean, there is something in that.
Oh, thank you, Patricia. And yeah, as you were just speaking, I was thinking, gosh, even down to, you know, nature is made up of numbers, isn't it? You know, fractals and spirals and everything is, you know, DNA, and, you know, it's all numbers. And that I love the tarot, fact that you've called out all those divine
Kirsty, would you like to
feminine.
share 3 of your favorites? I feel like, you know, when you go on a date, you can like ask 3 questions to someone and you meet the person. Okay,
it's
3
so
favorite cards and we
dating.
know all about you. Would you like to share?
Yes, okay. Do you know, I mainly work with oracle cards now, but I did actually in my early 20s learn how to read tarot on a course, and I found it fascinating. And I've been to a lady very regularly, actually, twice a year, who reads my tarot cards. So like you, I have to say the High Priestess, because I just love that archetype, and I love that, and that sort of the mysticism, the magic, but the majesty as well, you know, that sort of sovereignty of that real sort of knowledge. And yeah, and I love the fact that you've picked, sorry, I know I'm supposed to be doing mine, but the Priestess with the Hermit, because there's an element that connects those, I think, isn't there? That sort of want to go inwards to receive the beauty of that inner knowledge and connect with the knowledge from the universe and source.
Yeah, because the High Priestess, yeah, she pretended to be the Pope, and once she was serving during the ceremony, she started to give the birth. But it's, I mean, this is what the cards say as well. I mean, there are different schools and different meanings, but this is one of the story why she's actually called the High Priestess, because she was chosen as a Pope, but in the what's the word? In the cover. And once during the ceremony, she started to give a birth, and then they realized she was a woman. So she kind of tricked all these men in church, and she became a pope. That's why it's called the High Priestess. But of course, it's got all the meaning with the feminine energy and the powers that we have as women. And the Hermit, for me, well, it's like the priest, but the higher priest, that he got so much knowledge and experience in life that he just decided to go his own life, own path, just kind of probably to heal himself and guide others. Maybe that's why I like him, because he so much correlates to number 9, which I myself, because sometimes I feel like I'm really old soul. I know the feelings of other people. I've experienced so many things, but there is also the just that him being smart, so wise, so experienced, even though that he is left alone, but this was his own decision, that he wanted to have his own path in life. For me, it's kind of the comparison like to monk. So a lot of meditation, a lot of a connection with the universe, a lot of spiritual energy there is in that number and in that card. But as I said, all the cards, each of the card has beautiful meaning. And of course, you can read it in a positive and negative way. But like all of us, and everything has sides, like pros and cons. So
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm just trying to think. I think there's one that sticks in my mind, which is it the 3 of Wands? And it's a real celebratory card. Is it the 3 or the 4 of Wands? And they're
the celebration.
dancing. Yeah, it's sort of a real celebration.
There is the card called 3 Cups, which usually shows 3 women that are dancing together.
Oh, that
And
might be
it's
it.
all about, and this is all about the celebration of life.
Yes.
And this is about the joy. This is about the having fun in presence. So just experiencing life. But on the other hand, this card can show some shades, like that we spend too much time having fun, that we spend too much time with friends, that we forget about other things like work, family, that we are so much drawn just into having parties, just meeting other people. So, but yeah, this is the card that shows joy, but it depends on the question.
Yes, and as you say,
What
it's
the answer would be.
two
Yeah.
sides, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and that's my number 2, and then I think my number 3. We'll come on to you. Okay, I think it has to be the Fool. That sort of,
The Fool.
starting on the Fool, yeah, starting on the journey, and that innocence of that childlike wonder. I love that.
Yes.
Again,
So,
that probably has a really dark side.
well, as the name says, the Fool doesn't know who he is. So he is just starting the journey, and very often on the cards with the classical tarot cards, he is like just the wanderer with the dog as a companion, and he's just kind of careless. So this is kind of, well, the beginning of life we go through. Then we go into the magician, so we know what our kind of strengths are, and so on and so on. So the cards, one by one, shows development of each of the card. Yes, but the Fool is a good example that, and it goes with number 0. So it says that we always can start with nothing to go to the top. So this is the good example as well. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, those are the ones that just popped into my head, so we'll go with those.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you for your depth of interpretation as well. Love that. Thank you. So, Kate, what about you? What are your?
I love that
It
you
would
said the
be
Fool.
unfair to leave you out.
I'd say I have one very special card, so I'm gonna come back to her in a minute. But
Okay.
I for me, Fool resonates so much that anytime, and I always relate to that in my life, that anytime I would have the moments in my life that I think I know something or I've experienced something, straight away that energy kicks in, and I feel like I'm in the beginning, so I'm open for learning. Absolutely tabula rasa, I'm completely fresh, and it always resonated with me for years since I remember, before even knowing tarot. Always that energy resonated with me, so it resonates so much with me. This and then again, depending what's the question, like you said, Patricia, but like the card has so many energies at the same time in them. Like I love
Yes.
the depth of it. It's just so so multi-dimensional at the same time. And then the second one, I love that she's an hermit, of course, hermit. And it's interesting because I had my Vedic chart done recently, and the man said so beautifully that, oh, you might be experiencing that, let's say, loneliness and being an hermit, but this is the biggest power us people, the sensitive people, the us people, if you know, you know, have, because that's when we connect, that's when we get our messages, that's our biggest actually power in the hermit space. And then again, it's interesting because it's changing all the time. It's like fluid, because let's say the idea of going in a cave and being in an hermit state, and it's interesting because it came to me differently this year, because let's say if I was going through something for years, I would always go to my cave, always in my hermit state. But I would like to share this message. It came to me, the vision of it, through the shamanic journey recently, and they've showed me that the times came that when we go through something, okay, our hermit space, that we're going through things that we analyze and so on, but the times came that we need to hold each other's hands while we go through things. So I'd like to share that, because that message came very, very strongly, that the times kind of ended of going through things by ourselves, but kind of not necessarily to, you know, throw all our things on other people, but rather than just knowing that there are others like us, that it's very important those times. And then the third card, which is, I have I don't know how to say that, Byzantine, you know, the times, how would you say it?
A billion times.
Say
Babylon,
it.
Babylon times?
You spell BYZANTINE. Kirsty, you say, because you're gonna say it
I would say Byzantine.
Byzantine.
Ah, okay,
I
Yeah.
was
that one.
thinking how to say. I knew how to say, but I can never just say. It's just one of them things.
Yes, English is sometimes difficult to use and pronounce.
Yeah.
I loved how, I don't know if you remember,
Brilliant.
Kirsty, when we went for Lorna Byrne, she said one of the words and they were like, oh, what did you say? Oh, I'm just dyslexic, I just can't say that word. And she was just going on with it. I love that how
He was, yeah. I
there
forgot the
was
word
one
now,
word that
but
she said. And
there was one particular one that always got her, wasn't it?
yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember my friend, I need to come back to my friend because she remembers what she said. That particular word was so beautiful. And she said, oh, I just can't say it because I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
So I can't say Byzantine. Anyway, I have that tarot, okay?
Okay.
So the images are a bit different than the traditional one. And there is that one card that when you look into her cards, into her eyes, and it's the Queen of Swords. When you look into her eyes, she doesn't have to even say a word. You just know everything.
Yes.
And that energy, because I would come back to that state for many years, you know, coming from being a people pleaser, coming from, you know, anxiety towards people and stuff, and so on and so on. She doesn't have to do all this. She's just there. And she reminds me of my grandmother, and her energy is exactly like my grandmother's, because my grandmother, she would never speak. She just sat there. But once she spoke, you knew she spoke, okay?
Yeah,
And she could say just 2 words and she would just give you the whole information. So I love that card. Anytime, let's say, I would feel like out of balance or out of my energy, I would just, I don't even need to understand her. I just look into her eyes. I can just put her there and I'm like back into my energy.
Yeah. But the greatest thing, I just finishing, I mean, just kind of summing up from my perspective about tarot, that it's so beautiful that each of the cards that you decide to work with, they are so different because it depends what the author wanted to say, to explain in the picture. Because like I have a few different decks and each of them, they show different story. So I know there are two main schools about the tarot, but generally, really, when you go through different cards, it's just completely different perspective.
Would you experience something like that, Pasha? I'm very curious if you've ever experienced that, or maybe Kirsty, you did. I have a friend and we are also very much into tarot, like straight away going for it. It always has to be a tea and tarot and biscuits, you know? It's always like our must-have. So very often, let's say she would do tarot and I would have seen those cards so many times. And then in that particular question, that particular situation, they're painting themselves on the spot. For example, oh, I didn't see there was a bird there, or oh, I didn't know there were 3 dogs here. I've never seen them. They're kind of like, I find them so profound and so magical that they kind of paint themselves on the day. I don't know how to explain that. Would that happen to you as well, that they kind of change every time, even physically?
Yeah, for me, yeah, I definitely have had that experience where I've picked a card and thought, well, I've never ever seen that robin or that hair on there before, and of course it's what you need in that moment, isn't it? But yeah, the depth of them, I totally agree. I totally agree. Patricia, what about you? Do you
Yeah, I do
have
agree as well,
yeah,
because sometimes it's just
yeah.
like there is certain element of the card that I don't pay attention to, but as I said, it all depends on the question and also on the energy of the person that asked the question, because it means that this is the answer to her or to him, whoever asks. But this is kind of the thing I've noticed myself, that it's so, I don't know how to explain. It's just magic. But also coming to tarot, there is Angelic Tarot, which is a bit different with the standard tarot. And I know some people try to start working with that one because they found it's kind of easier to work with the angels energy in tarot. So, but this is a good start with if someone is interested.
Oh, I love that. I will not be myself if I won't budge in with my story about tarot. I don't know, because Patricia, I know you know it because I just said it a few days ago when we met. I think, Kirsty, I've never said that to you because years ago, I don't know, like 15 years ago, when I wanted to buy my first angel deck, of course, no tarot, because I was raised, you know, in very strong Christianity. So of course, they're devils and everything, the worst in tarot. So we avoid that. So I knew how to avoid that. So I went to Eason's here in Dublin and I wanted to get my angel deck. And it was so funny because I went to the shelf and there were all the decks. And
You told the story last time, yeah.
and I'm trying to reach the angel deck, and I knew exactly which one I wanted to get. And I'm trying to reach the angel deck, and the tarot deck fell on the floor. Poof. And I'm like, oh my God, the devil's here.
Yes.
So I put it gently back on the shelf. I'm trying to reach it again. And again, tarot, poof, on the floor. I'm like, oh my God, the devils are really here. And now looking back at it, because just my fear manifesting, and I felt like now when I look at back and when I say the story, I can see, we always say, Patrycja with Kirsty, that angels, they're sitting in a pub and they're having pints and they're having a laugh. Oh, let's give her a little story, let's scare her a bit, or oh,
maybe these are leprechauns now.
Oh, maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and so what happened, Kate? Did you buy the tarot? Did you buy the...
No, there were devils, so I just
No.
got the angel one. But then actually someone gifted me my first tarot, and I was just absolutely in love. So then the fear was gone, you know, like I got back on my track. But it took me a while. So I suppose that's the message also for people, because there are things, even probably you remember Kirsty doing the angel healing. And I was wondering, why is there level 1, level 2? And Calista used to explain to us, you know, if you do that stuff, some people might be a bit scared, like, but when you're on a path, like, you know, there's no fear at all, like there's nothing like that. So I suppose maybe if someone is listening and they would be scared of some things, like there's like, I can relate to that. Like, I feel like maybe we can all relate to that, that at the beginning, sometimes there is a bit of fear, of course, being raised like that. Would you relate to that as well? That the beginning, there could be fear, like, oh, is that angel really nice? Or is it demonic? Or
Oh, definitely. And I think, you know, that conditioning, as you say, can sometimes be that well hidden that we don't consciously know that there's going to be a fear, and then all of a sudden it comes up and you're thinking, gosh, where did that fear come from? But again, you know, as we've been saying all along, it's trusting, really trusting that inner knowledge, isn't it? And trusting that. And I think if something is not right or not of a high vibration, you just know, because it feels very wrong and off. And the angels are never going to they'll never feel like that to you, or your guides, or, you know, the beings of the highest light will never feel that way, will they? So there is nothing to be frightened of. It's just, you know, as we've been saying all the way through, really, that trust and surrendering to the higher self, really. So, but yeah, absolutely, especially some yeah, I think there's an incident when, no, it was a part of our training, I think, the part of our attunement, and we had to look at some origins of angelic origin, and some of that was a little bit challenging for me at the time. But I don't know about you, Kate, but I understood it afterwards. But the more you have to experience things, don't you, to understand them? So yeah. So nothing to be
you, Patrycja, with that part of fear in the journey? Would you experience that? Or you were always like, you were 5 and you were walking with tarot in your hand?
No. I've heard the same stories, like, oh, you shouldn't be doing tarot because, well, it's just the devil, it's just the black magic, blah blah blah. But well, I listened at the very beginning, so I started with Gypsy Kings because I was drawn to gypsies. I don't know why, but anyway, like for me, always cards. It's like reading a poem. There is just a story. There is just an action. And if you have the few cards together, they all make sense, depending on the question. Yes, but yeah, I had fear at the very beginning. I started to do cards, that tarot, when I was around 20, in my 20s. But then when I started, it just kicked off. I learned the meaning of each cards. I practiced on myself. I practiced for my friends, and so on and so on. And also, I've learned what's very important with the cards. Whichever cards you work with, it is just that you know, that safety, that you feel safe, that you know what you're doing, that you protect yourself. And so that is very important to remember about your aura. To remember that there are many different spirits, not necessarily good, around you. So you need to be really careful what you're doing, because everything is a powerful tool, especially cards, even oracle cards.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's spiritual hygiene as well. It's really important, isn't it, to create that sacred space and that protection. Yeah. Oh gosh, we could talk all night. Tarot, numerology.
So it was just the first episode of our series with Patrycja. Thank you so much. Patrycja, for the end, would you like to share where can people find you? Where can we reach out to you?
Yes, so everyone can find me on my Facebook profile under my name, Patrycja Matuszkiewicz. And I've recently opened my official profile. It calls Patricius World Window. The story is also with the Akashic Records, and it explained why this is that name, why there is that logo and symbol. But I felt I'm ready be to be shown to the public that with all my skills, with the things that I've learned, that I'd like to share. So this is the name of the profile on the Facebook and also on Instagram. So if you would like to reach me, please just go there and I will come back to you.
And we're going to share all these in our show notes underneath. So if you guys would like to reach out to Patrycja, thank you so much, Patrycja. And thank you, Kirsty. Thank you so much I really enjoyed it so much. So many nuggets.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you. Thanks, Patrycja. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.